Alright, it's our first 11 on Rock City 101.9 FM. Let's talk about business. Let's talk about the economy, business, economic trend, where we give you stories and trending in the business and, of course, the economic sector of Nigeria. My name is Ololade Sanyaolu. We'll do these only on Mondays and Fridays. Alright, I'll start with the banking sector this morning. GT Bank PLC has declared a final dividend of 2 naira 40 kobo per share to its shareholders for the financial year ended December 31, 2017. The dividend payout to shareholders is now 2 naira 70 kobo per share against 2 naira paid in 2016. The proposed dividend, according to the bank, will be tabled before shareholders at the annual general meeting coming up on April 10 in Lagos. The bank, in its audited report, recorded profit after tax of 170.45 billion naira against 132.29 billion naira in 2016. Also, the turnover of the bank hit 419.2 billion naira in 2017, in contrast with 416.6 billion naira in 2016. Away from that now, the presidency says it is investigating the likely collusion between federal civil servants and contractors executing government contracts. The investigation is being undertaken by Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and Independent Corrupt Practices and Related Offences Commission. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, made this known at the 2018 procurement retreat for the chief executive officers of federal agencies and parastatals in Abuja. Mustafa, represented by the Permanent Secretary in charge of General Service in his office, Olusegun Ade, warned that any of them found colluding with contractors and abused the Procurement Act of procedure will be prosecuted. To the petroleum sector, Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is working to expand its brand in the retail segment of the petroleum product distribution sector. It is finalizing arrangement to expand its network of mega retail stations nationwide. The Group Managing Director, Dr. Mekanti Baro, made this known while receiving Governor Rauf Aregbesola of Osun State at the NNPC Towers in Abuja. Baro's declaration came on the heels of advanced talks between the corporation and the Osun State government on collaboration over establishing a state-of-the-art retail fueling station to improve the supply and distribution of petroleum products in the state. Osun State government and NNPC are expected to further discuss. The NNPC GMT explains that Osun State government has completed a more than 26 nozzle retail station and is planning to lease out to the corporation. The strategy for the NNPC retail, according to him, is to capture as much of the downstream retail market in the country as possible, adding that a state like Osun is very central to the expansion drive. Responding, Governor Aregbesola said he was in the NNPC to commend the corporation for its interest in driving development in Osun State. Nigerian conglomerate UAC PLC plans to raise 20 billion naira through a bond sale of refinance short-term borrowings at its real estate subsidiary. Losses at the subsidiary UAC Property Development Corporation have widened, says the Group Chief Executive Officer Abdul Bello. UPDC reported last week that its losses widened to 3.05 billion naira in 2017 from 1.23 billion naira the previous year. Bello, who took over as chief executive this year, says the company wants to restructure UPDC, which is suffering from a current oversupply in the market coupled with a drop in Nigerians' purchasing power. He told an analyst call that the harsh economic conditions were still affecting the house market and that sales at UPDC fell 20% in 2017. UPDC cut its debt to 19.3 billion naira in 2017, down to 50% from the previous year. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, assigned duties to the newly appointed deputy governors who assumed duty on March 28. The Apex Bank's Acting Director, Corporate Communications Department, Mr. Isaac Okorafo, and a statement says that Mrs. Aisha Ahmad was deployed to the Financial System Stability Directorate, while Mr. Edward Lemetek Adamu was assigned to Corporate Services. Emefiele also approved the deployment of Dr. Okunana from the Financial System Stability Directorate to the Economic Policy Directorate. Mr. Adebayo Adelabu, however, retains his portfolio as Deputy Governor Operations Directorate. According to Okorafo, the affected principal offices have since assumed duty in their new duties. Corporate Affairs Commission (CSA) has extended its working hours to 7 p.m. from Monday to Friday in Lagos and 6 other zonal offices to ease business registration. The Commission also says it had deepened its online registration portal to cover all its 36 state offices to fast-track registration process in line with the federal government's ease of doing business policy. The agency's acting registrar, General Lady Azuka Azinge, made this known at the quarterly customers forum of the Commission in Lagos. Azinge explains that the online registration system introduced by the Commission will be extended to post-registration services as soon as possible. Operatives of the Nigerian Customs Service in a joint operation with soldiers have seized the suspected smuggled rice from a warehouse and shops at Ijayi axis of Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. The raid, which began 1 a.m. on Saturday, lasted till evening. The custom operatives and soldiers, loaded in 6 Hilux vans, caused a panic as they shot sporadically, forcing residents to wake up from their sleep. The gunshots shattered the windscreen of 2 cars in the area. They initially impounded 2 trucks loaded with rice, suspected to have been smuggled from Benin Republic. Later, they broke into shops of rice dealers in the area, offloading suspected smuggled rice into the vehicles. Also impounded were hundreds of 50 kilograms of kegs of groundnut oil, suspected to have been smuggled. Spokesman of the State Command of the agency, Abdullahi Maidawa, told Rock City News in Abeokuta that the raid was undertaken by operatives from the Federal Operating Unit in Ikeja, Lagos. He says the raid followed intelligence that some truck loaded with rice were moving into Abeokuta from Benin. Bill seeking to stop the estimated billion of electricity consumers by electricity distribution companies DISCOs is now being considered by the House of Representatives. Under the bill, the sponsor, Femi Gbajabiamila, says electricity consumers will apply to DISCOs for a prepaid meter, pay a regulated fee for the meter. The DISCOs, according to the provisions of the bill, must install the prepaid meter 30 days after the payment of regulated fee for the meter. The amended Electricity Power Sector Reform Bill has been read for the first time on the floor of the House and will be further debated when members of the House resume from their Easter break. Gbajabiamila, who is the House leader, says he is optimistic that the bill will enjoy an easy passage in the House. National Agency for Food, Drug Administration and Control (NAFDAC) has dismissed reports that plastic fish is in circulation in Nigerian markets. The agency says it is reacting to a report from a consumer in Abuja who claims to have bought fish which refused to cook. According to NAFDAC, its investigations and analysis of some of the suspected plastic fish and indicate that it contains protein and fat which are normal in fish. The agency, however, says the suspected plastic fish is unwholesome because they are contaminated. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has expressed concern over the increase in the disbursement of oil revenue from the Federation account by the 3 tiers of government. The committee, at its meeting on Wednesday in Abuja, says the monetization of the oil revenue in the Federation account is becoming worrisome. The Apex Bank's governor, Godwin Emefiele, reading a communique, asked the government to instead initiate a strong stabilization program, freeze their aggregate expenditure, and reduce the distribution of revenue from the Federation account. According to the committee, the suggested measure will stabilize Nigeria's fragile economy against the future shocks from the global economy. The committee also asked government to reduce their borrowing locally and pay the sum of 2.7 trillion naira debt owed local contractors. Also, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration Control (NAFDAC) has confiscated expired drugs worth over 5 million naira from a drug dealer in Ariaria Market in Aba, Abia State. The state coordinator of NAFDAC, Mr. Olisa Okeke, made this in an interview with the newsmen on Tuesday in Aba. Okeke said that the agency got information that the dealer was used to stocking expired drugs, changing their expiry date and selling same to unsuspecting members of the public. According to the coordinator, NAFDAC officers investigated the shop, swooped on it and successfully confiscated many common drugs with March 2017 expiry date and awaiting revalidation. Okeke also said that the agency had sanctioned more than 50 bakeries in Aba for claiming to be out of operations while functioning secretly and refusing to renew the NAFDAC licenses. He said that some of them had operated for 4 years without renewing their licenses. The coordinator said that NAFDAC had also began inspection of water production in Abia to promote good health. Ogun State Government is to hold a one-day conference mini-grid development rural electrification to draw participants from stakeholders in the mini-grid space. The program is also organized to discuss the state government's rural electrification plan and chart a path of electrification for rural communities in the state. A release signed by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Rural Development, Willie Ulubebi, with the theme Energizing Sustainable Rural Development in Ogun State, said the program will be declared open by the state Deputy Governor Yetunde Ononuga. Guests expected at the event are representatives from the Federal Rural Electrification Agency, German Agency for International Development, Nigeria Energy Support Program, Central Bank of Nigeria, amongst others. Kaduna State has unveiled a $65.5 billion infrastructure plan that is expected to run from 2018 to 2050 to reposition the state as an industrial state. Governor Nasiru Ahmed El-Rufai announces this at the opening ceremony of the Kaduna Economic and Investment Summit held in Kaduna. The package, according to the governor, is realistic because about 79% of the investors in the state are foreign investors. According to him, the state was interested in weighing investors into the commercial agricultural sector, agro-allied industries, renewable energy, transportation, solid minerals, ICT services, hospitality, housing, education, healthcare, waste to wealth, and light manufacturing. He said some of the international investors already in Kaduna are Olam, Archery and Feed Mill, Dangote, Tomato Farm and Processing Facility, Dangote Poultry Assembly Plant and Flour Mills, Maize and Wheat Flour Processing Plant, and others are Capital Rice, Indorama, Organic Fertilizer, Rapida, Mass Housing, FIDC, Mass Housing, Hydra Foam, Mass Housing, and ICT Hub, ICT Sidna Electricity Skipper, and to mention but a few. Also in the state are Edible Oil Refinery, OCP Fertilizer, the Capro Potato Farm, and the Processing Facility. Alright, I know that stories trending in the business and of course the economic sector of Nigeria. To join us again on Friday for another fresh edition. My name is Ololade. Sanyaolu. Do have a wonderful day.